What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Roxette. And we're returning for some bonus tunes in the expanded folder for the 1999 album Have a Nice Day. And I should mention my plan is to perhaps start the pair deep dive in conjunction with the Roxette bi-weekly or fortnightly reactions I've been doing the next time around, so we can look forward to that. And again, the Marie journey will also continue to progress, so yes, we'll keep some different lanes in this larger Roxette-related excursion going. Nevertheless, the next tune in this folder for Roxette's, I guess, deluxe edition or expanded edition of Have a Nice Day is It Hurts. So it's pretty straightforward. Whatever it is painful. It is something that has caused damage or suffering or is currently doing that. Of course, I'm inclined to think that it's a breakup, it's some asymmetrical relationship, it's a past relationship, it's a situation that has caused anguish for someone, but presumably it was originally more positive, or at least the idea was that it would be positive. So I'm guessing this centers around a broken relationship, either in the present tense or the past tense. So we'll see what I can catch on a first listen. This is Roxette. The tune is It Hurts, and it's a bonus tune included in an expanded folder for their album Have a Nice Day. Let me just check the metadata really quickly. Yeah, it doesn't say. Sometimes the metadata indicates like what single B-side it might be or so on, but it doesn't do that here. So let's just give it a listen. Roxette, It Hurts.
Tell me where it leads when it's never ending. Can you tell me where to go when no one's home? And I know, you know, it hurts. It hurts to be alone. You're wrong, you're wrong. On a one-way train going down. Can you tell me what to say when there's no one listening? Can you show me what to do when all is done? Oh, I know, you know, it hurts to be alone. The plan has gone wrong, like a runaway train going down. Oh, going down, down, going down, going down.
again, I feel like you can let that run a little bit longer. But yes, that's a beautiful tune. I love the sonic stylings. The first half of it had this down-tempo ambient feel, almost reminded me of like an Enigma track, or almost like some of the syncopated tracks within the Sybient down-tempo universe, which my ambient excursions feature primarily that type of music. I enjoyed those. They were almost like woodwind instruments, but seemingly they had some effects on them where they sounded like they were fragmented or being bent or somehow, what's the right word? Like shadowed or something. Like they didn't sound like a true flute, but they sounded like, again, a woodwind that was coming only in fragments or parts. So I enjoyed that particular sonic detail, and there was a real lush pad sort of background to the sonic atmosphere. Now in the second half of the tune, it went more into a guitar ballad type of feel, which is certainly fertile ground for Roxette. I feel like some of their tunes, or a lot of their tunes, that are maybe not the like rocking synth pop type, but the more emotional tunes in their catalog, a lot of them sort of head in that direction, and we did get some very sonorous guitar work along the way. But I definitely enjoy the transition of the track from that more austere opening to a more full and robust sound by the end, where again I feel like you could have waited a little bit longer to fade out. Nevertheless, I think a lot of the lyrics are very touching. Like, number one, just that idea of a runaway train. It's a very powerful image, the idea of, emotions not being under your control, even jumping the tracks and going outside where they're supposed to and heading down, some ravine or some place where you're going to crash. I feel like that's all very rich conceptual metaphor. And what was the line that, like, what am I supposed to say when there's no one around to hear it? It was something like that, or what are you telling me to say when there's no one around to hear it? I forget exactly what the phrasing was, but that's like, it's very poetic and also heartbreaking. Like the idea of there is nothing to say when you're alone, when you don't have someone, when you don't have a support network or people who care about you, or you don't have this person that you thought was your life partner and so on. When that has gone astray, there is nothing to say because there's no one there to hear it. It doesn't matter, what clever or what's the right word again, what lesson you've learned from the situation, because again, there's no one there to commiserate with you or to share in that appreciation for what you've learned. So definitely a touching line, if also a painful one. And the idea in general about being alone and that hurting, I feel like that is something that almost everybody goes through in life. Maybe there's some people who are just born into a large family and always have friends around and find someone that they love early on, and there's never any problems with that, and they live together with a whole cohort of colleagues and friends until they die. But that's probably extremely anomalous if it does happen. So I think it's the kind of song that's going to resonate with just about anybody. And, if people have gone through emotions and difficult breakups or long-term relationships that eventually fell apart, there's going to be a special twinge of the heart on that one, I think. So definitely a touching tune. Marie's vocals, very beautiful. A couple moments where she not goes bigger and not even so much goes higher, but she almost like turned her voice to a more pained type of delivery, which of course in a song like this I think is going to work very well. So yes, a touching tune, great Roxette stylings as you would expect. Again, an emotive guitar, Marie's incredible vocals, some atmospheric synths, so definitely in their wheelhouse, but in one particular side of their wheelhouse, if that makes sense. So yes, I thought it was a very beautiful tune. My only complaint is that I wish it went for another 45 seconds or a minute longer. I felt like she was still doing some vocal flourishes, and I wouldn't have minded hearing a few more guitar licks before a longer fade out. Maybe going back into that more stripped down down-tempo ambient type of feel and then let that gradually softly peter out, that making it more of like a bookended tune. I feel like that might have been preferable, but that's a minor complaint. Like when you say that you just want more of a song, it's not really a critique of the song per se. It's perhaps at most a critique of the, not engineering of the tune, but of the executive or producer decision to give it a short end that maybe makes it easier to play on the radio, or maybe as a B-side on a single release allows you to sneak in another tune onto a single release. But either way, my only real complaint is that I wish it was a bit longer, which is not a significant complaint. Nevertheless, when we come back to this expanded folder the next time, Making Love to You. Well, it's funny, it seems like that's very much on the other end of the emotional spectrum and of the relationship dynamic. So, yes, I feel like, I mean, I don't think it's any revelation that many, many Roxette songs relate to relationships. Now, as I've learned, there's some along the way where I was thinking about intimate partners, significant others, spouses. And then I remember in one case in particular, and not too long ago, it was like, oh, like Marie wrote this, about her child. And it's like, oh, wait, okay, so a very loving and important relationship, but not the dynamic I was actually thinking of. But yes, I feel like given their predilection to write songs about deeply emotional relationships, maybe romantic ones in particular, it's the kind of song that I enjoy seeing, or the song title I enjoy seeing, because when you talk about those things, it's nice sometimes to focus on the good moments, the special connections, and not just that heartbreak. Though, to be fair, I think in art more generally, heartbreak is a really fertile soil for creative processes and poetic lyrics. So I suppose that just comes with the territory, but I'll be happy to hear what, at least on the surface, sounds like a song that's more about the euphoric end of the love spectrum. So, in any case, let me know what you think of this, and I will see you next time. Peace.